Well, no, it's not like that. Like that was the start. That was the start.
That was the start.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you have 2 weeks to look over 700 pages of stuff in each belt, you can skim through and take a look at what techniques are added. And within 2 weeks, at least have enough information to have my initial conversation.
Well, you can't.
Well, to have an initial conversation with the instructors, to be humble and be like, all right, I think these things are going to work and let me try this. And that's honestly how it started.
Wow.
And then the success ratios went up and up and up.
How rewarding is that they actually, well, you know what? You did all that work and it's really impressive and
he's not
they want to
taking
give
money.
you a shot. And you're not even wanting money. That's amazing.
No, I don't want any money.
That's incredible.
Oh,
I don't. I have no website. I'm sorry. I don't have any Instagram. I have no Twitter. I am very proudly apprenticed under the only Grandmaster on the planet that I know of that's an ex-Special Forces Green Beret. And Grandmaster Carlito, who's also one of the most amazing Grandmasters in Serrata, as you guys know.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And then,
talk about
living legend.
Shout out to all my combatives instructors, all the guys who helped me with that. Shihan Brian Ruckbach of Elite Martial Arts. And all the guys in Naval Special Warfare Advanced Training Command combatives that kicked my ass for 8 months. And primarily the Marine Corps. I'll just flat out state that. The martial arts instructor trainers of the United States Marine Corps have taken, out of necessity, the templates that I thought were useless and taken a look at why they're designed the way that they're designed. And when you put yourself in an active duty service person's mindset or someone who's in law enforcement, it drastically changes your need for outcomes.
Holy shit.
It changes everything because I'll just leave it at that. It changes everything.
So how is it that you became Grandmaster Green's #1 sensei? I mean,
I wouldn't say that.
Senior sensei, because that's what we.
I have to cut that off right there because I don't believe I'm the #1. I think Ray Kodani is. And I'm going to throw that out there right away out of respect to Ray. And notice how I'm not even allowing that stuff to come up. Whoever's watching this.
We love Ray.
Well,
Ray
I know.
is such a cool
I love
guy.
Ray.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He is by far the most humble guy I've ever met.
And the reason why I said, because that's the only way I knew about you. We didn't know Ray until recently when we did an episode.
He's the shadow, man. He hangs out in the background. But that cat has been around training with Grandmaster Green longer than me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm being up front.
We see him, but we never knew who he was.
We never really got to know him.
And sometimes I look at this and it's unfortunate because it's not my style. Like, I'm nervous on camera here, okay? I am. I'm trying my best.
We can see it.
to not be weird on a camera, but the truth of it is that
we want weird.
Grandmaster Green just really liked what I was doing, and he really took a latching on to the Marine Corps and what they saw in me, and he really believed in it. And there's a lot of communication there between those officers and him and understanding this point of instruction, right?
Well, he's a legend among them.
Yeah.
Well, Green Berets, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, he's really good at what he does. So, but I want to be very truthful that as my come up did this thing and other people liked the way I teach, thank you all. I really appreciate that. Ray has always been the dude that has been in the background where his modality and his mindset is to stay humble, to constantly be cracking at it.
He is always.
But more importantly, his thing is he knows that I'm combining it with a military point of instruction and learning to take this and do that with it and like these things.
You're specializing it.
Yeah. His whole thing was to go, I want to keep it the exact way Grandmaster Green originally taught it. Yeah. And so that's Senior Sensei Ray. So to be perfectly honest with you, like there are minute details and there are trainings that I might not have been exposed to that I believe Ray knows, and I will always give you props, sir. They talk about me being a lineage holder, and that was because there had to be a split in terms of no one else is doing all the defense and arrest tactics and the transitions to tertiary and secondary weapons that I'm doing on this side of the fence, but the principles are identical and the same, and Ray is my senior student. He's the guy above me, and I respect that. So that's why there's been a split.
So we've been getting it wrong all the time, because that's how it always came across, that you were the senior sensei.
Of what I'm doing because of
there's
that's fantastic.
Okay, there's a separation between
specialization of it being
like I have nothing but love for Ray and total respect. Not a lot of people talk about that. They just love to throw this glory on me, and I'm like, nope. So I'm going to crush that right away out of respect. Sorry.
I'm glad you did.
If you want to slap him, by all means.
No.
Hey,
it's got to be known.
With
like,
it.
Grandmaster.
No, and that's just it though. It wasn't known to us, and that's like I said. Anytime we've ever heard about you, you're always the senior.
In my defense, I never thought of you that way. I just thought you were the guy.
Cool dude.
You were cool.
Yeah.
I never gave you a title.
This is why we get along.
Never gave you a title.
You guys are in my backyard.
That guy over here
I just wanted to have a convo.
I tried to do research, but apparently my research was bad. So
no.
I had a bad
day. You get why I do the research.
I just want to make sure Ray gets his due credit.
Oh no, we
met
Ray.
Motherfucker. That guy
we met Ray at our 25th episode.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And he was there, and talk about humble. Oh, Puerto Rico or Master Rico. I'm like, no, dude, just call me Rico, dude. Just,
yeah, we kept trying to put him in front of the camera. He was like, no, I'm just
he
here
won't
to
do
watch
it.
him.
Yeah,
He won't do
it's
this shit.
crazy.
He won't do it.
And he
So
did. He
humble.
did say that he would come on our show at some time.
Yeah.
So we're still
We'll
Ray.
convince
We're
him.
holding you to
Ray,
that.
you got to represent. You, were
Especially
thrown
now
out
that
there.
he's talked you up.
Yep.
You gotta come on
Gotta
the
do it
show.
now.
He's good.
Can't do it.
He's really good.
We're gonna stick him on you.
Yeah, but he's super humble.
He is.
He's always got that big giant smile on.
He does.
You're like, dude.
He's such a
He's
fun guy.
got
Yeah,
an
he's pretty
infectious
cool.
smile because you're like, I like this guy. That's what
He didn't say anything, but I like him.
Yeah, but you got to be on the show. He's like, okay.
Okay.
He actually loved what we were doing with the show. He says, yeah, you guys are bringing people out who people would never even hear about, and you guys are talking. Yeah,
We know about you, and the circle we know knows about you, but
Yeah.
outside of that,
I mean, I don't.
you're just that guy on the skateboard that everybody sees every once in a while. I think he's homeless.
man.
I'm not sure.
Grandmaster Green had always said. He said, "Try to be the best damn martial artist that no one's ever heard of."
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
That's
cool.
Grandmaster Green. So I'm happy that what I'm doing is making people happy. I'm happy that I'm contributing to obviously law enforcement and military communities. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't really
any
care
money,
if
like-
I make money off of
Yeah,
it.
that was
if
a
I'm
shock to
cool.
hear.
Like, I'm not doing any of that.
That I was surprised by.
Yeah.
But I'm
I just
actually,
wanna-
now that you say it, no, I'm not. It stands to your character.
I appreciate
From
that.
what we know about you, it really stands to his
Yeah,
character.
and folks, we want you guys to understand. When we first met Nicholas,
Yeah.
he was very giving.
Oh yeah.
All right, and I remember we had an opportunity to come out here the first time over almost 3 years ago.
3 years ago,
I
when we
wasn't here.
first
Yeah, we didn't
Played.
invite the Mexican.
Yeah.
But when we came out here, you're very just come on guys, and here let's do and we did all these things, and we got to play with you, and you actually opened our eyes to actually what we were doing because we didn't know. You were making sense. I mean, that sounds crazy, right? But you had said some stuff, and me and Dan were like, yeah, I guess that is what we're doing. and it was funny to us because like, damn, this guy's just watched us for a couple of, just for the how many hours we were only here for the day. And then here it is. He's like, "Oh, here's what you guys do. You're taking the traditional martial arts stuff and you're turning it upside down. You're doing that." I'm like,
Are we?
"All right." Surprised the hell out of us. Like, "Oh, cool."
Right, this is the first time in one of our episodes that we talk to a martial artist and we talk about martial arts more than anything else.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get away from that because someone recently told us, man, talking to Nick, you would think that he's a lot older. All the stories that he tells, all the things that he's done. And I'm like, wait, we've only been talking about the martial arts. I know just one thing, that you used to be a rocker. You used to get on stage. What was your instrument?
I still have it. It's right in there. Same guitar, and then I like to scream.
Guitar and scream.
Guitar and scream.
So
Yeah,
in that
bass,
guitar, what's the cool thing about that guitar? Because
Oh Jesus! The guitar's got when I first got a chance to play what I consider a show. I knew it was going to be in front of a lot of people, and it was with this band called Malice in Wonderland.
Malice and Wonder.
Malice in Wonderland.
That's so wonderful.
And
I'm gonna look that shit up.
Our area bar that was maybe 2 or 3 blocks away from our jam spot, the Dutch Mill in Stoughton,
Dutch
Wisconsin.
Mill.
The Dutch Mill in Stoughton, Wisconsin, had really gotten behind the band. And when we first found out that we were going to get a chance to play these really good shows, we were there celebrating and drinking. And they were talking about, man, you got to put the beer opener from the bar on your guitar, like this or that or whatever else.
Yeah.
And so one of my close homies had gotten the opener from a bar. He literally screwed it to the front of the guitar, so it's got a beer opener on the front of it. And then I used to smoke a lot of grass, so it's got a bowl in it as well. Smoked weed out of the guitar.
Talk about a rocker, right?
Well, I got it over there. I still jam on it, but
we're gonna pull that out later on because
you go ahead,
dude. Can I go grab it real quick?
Really?
I'm not gonna want to. Yeah, it's right
Oh,
inside.
definitely.
Oh,
Are you
my
kidding?
goodness.
This is awesome. We might even have you do a couple of riffs.
I don't know.
I don't know about that, but it's to the right.
Did you say riffs or rips? Because
No, I'm not doing any rips.
I know.
But
when did you start playing?
I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, heavy metal music was always something that was really.
This one
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, jeez.
So is this
That one's
before 14?
Actually, after.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
I don't want to.
this is it. This is the same guitar I used to play with in the band. And
Okay,
it's
you
got
got to
the
lift it up. So.
beer opener right there in the front, and then this usually has a knob over the front of it, but that hasn't been used in over a decade.
Yeah, it's probably
And
rusted.
that's it. Yeah, and then there's the mouthpiece. So I used to have a lighter on a caddy. That was the thing, so I'd be playing on the
With your
guitar,
strap?
and then I'd pull it like that, and then hit my guitar, and then go back to rocking out. But yeah, that's it. Blood's still on the headstock.
Blood is.
Blood. Wait, what?
Wait,
Yeah,
wait.
check it out. You can see where I painted over it right there, coagulated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whose
Well,
head?
No, I was
it
jumping
yours?
around, and Gito, the other guitarist, my
Uh-huh.
head slammed into his headstock and cut my eyebrow open a little bit.
Nice.
And so blood went all over the headstock, and then they were like, "Oh, that's cool." And so they spray painted it instead of fucking idiots. These guys are absolute gems. They would. I'm not telling Malice in Wonderland stories.
How?
Yeah,
Okay,
you can put
we
that
won't
in.
get into
That's
that.
it.
How long did you play for?
This is
still
awesome.
playing. I mean, I'm 44,
Oh,
so I still.
But not with
rock out.
Malice.
No, not with Malice. I did Lords of Discipline after that, and a couple other local acts. Moved out to LA.
Uh-huh.
Did a band called Ancla. They had come off of Ozfest, and that's when I got a chance to start actually doing some tour dates. We went to Puerto Rico and all over the United States. It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long were you touring?
I'll put it to you like this.
Uh-huh.
Because I think there's something to be said about it. Real rock stars spend hours and hours and hours and hours of practice, and then years and years and years on tour, and out of a year they're barely home, and that's being a real rock star.
Wow.
And so people will sit there and talk about, oh, I've been a rock star for a minute or whatever else, and it's like, I had a chance to go to NAMM with my badge pass. I had a chance to actually be signed up in a real band that was under contract and be able to go there and hobnob with people, and then you realize you're in this school of people that have been doing this as a lifestyle, and like you're the small fish in a huge sea, right?
Wow.
So when someone says to me, "Oh, you used to be a rocker," I'll say, that whole thing about 15 minutes of fame?
Yeah.
I had 2.5.
Oh, all right.
Like, it was really cool to make friends with some legitimate people that were out on tour. It was great to have a stint living in LA. It was awesome to be able to play real shows and to experience that, but the fine print is what did it for me. Like, there's
Was
things
there
that
anything
You couldn't cross over to there.
I'm not into getting super wasted all the time. I can't do that. I'm sorry. It's just
Yeah.
not my thing. I did tears if you do, drugs. Or
Was
you like to
anything
get
ever
really
recorded?
drunk or whatever.
Was anything
Yeah,
ever recorded?
I
Yeah,
still
but-
write. Well, in the other bands I did. Now I'm still writing music with different heavy hitters out of LA. Like having fun.
Oh, wow.
But
okay.
I still scream. I still play. But like I consider myself somebody who just likes to jam. I mean,
As soft-spoken as he is, and
Yeah.
he's a screamer.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's people who. My point is, there's people who really do it.
Right.
Well, who really committed to that is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. There's real rock stars out there, man.
Wow.
I'm not one of them. I'm just
Okay.
a guy that used to jam a whole
You're a
lot.
tourist.
Yeah, I'll admit that. I got a chance to go on tour, and it feels good to be legitimate friends with different people that are still out on tour.
Wow.
When they come through, and SoFly, good buddies with that crew. And
Right.
Mark
SoFly.
Rizzo, he's a
Wow.
guy that is really good at guitar and really likes martial arts. I've been holding pads for him since like 2005. He's a good friend. We've done Kali sticks with him before. He's a really good dude. You have Ty Gay in the middle of Oklahoma. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Zoltan Bathory, I'm not going to claim I'm friends with Zoltan. Well, no, but I got a chance to actually train with him a little bit backstage on the
That's
theater.
cool.
And he's really into martial arts, and there's a lot of guys
Training
that are
with him at his
backstage
concert. That's
no, like
crazy.
not training him,
No.
training with him. Like,
No,
he's
that's
gonna
what I
throw
mean. You
me on my
trained with
head.
him, well, yeah.
He's really good at judo, like combat judo. Like I'll fucking dump you on your brain. So it's really cool to like get a chance to sit backstage at shows and to be able to jam. Like that feels good. But
I did not know there was a group of rockers out there that had a whole bunch of martial
Martial arts
arts
there's a
background
lot
to
of
it.
really scary martial artists that are
Really?
rock and roll guys. Yeah, Herman Lee
Oh.
from Dragon Force is another one. He's been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu since back in the day. Zoltan just got his black belt in Brazilian
Wow.
Jiu-Jitsu. Like that guy's no joke. He's even done combatives training. His head of security is one of the old Naval Special Warfare Advanced Training Command combatives guys, and is also level 3 combative certified in Modern Army Combatives program. That's John Simmons. Odyssey Martial Arts. That guy is, I think, a 3-stripe black belt and incredible at shooting. And he's this little ninja-looking dude that hangs out with him on stage. And, like, that guy will choke you out. And then, like, the rest of their security force dudes are a lot of Army Combatives program old
Wow.
instructors.
So rock and roll and army, they just
Well, that particular band has a ton of respect for the military, and so they're always hiring guys that are from the military.
really.
Yeah, that whole crew.
Wow,
That's one of the reasons
so
why I
cool.
like Five Finger Death Punch. They're really cool.
Yeah, they do have some cool songs.
So one of the crazy, because I know you have a bunch of other things under your belt too that it doesn't do with the martial arts or with the band stuff. What else you got going that you can tell us about?
What do you
that
mean?
where you don't have to kill us after.
You degrees.
You're an IT guy.
What do you study? What do you?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm doing IT, so I was just at Fort Irwin Army Hospital and Fort Irwin in Manhattan, Kansas. I was out there implementing their new MHS system for Genesis.
don't know what that means.
Systems. Military health system. So I'm just like hooking in a bunch of peripherals into all
Right.
this stuff and watching them update and image computers. But had a chance to teach some Army people when I was there. That was fun.
Oh, okay.
Well, and the reason why I brought that up, because you're doing all these things to the military. You're not military, and you don't even want their money.
right.
No. And
But
that's,
this one
yeah.
I do. You get paid for the IT stuff too.
Well, yeah, that's a job.
Yeah, that's a
That's
job.
his job.
That's a job.
But that's amazing. I mean, wow. I mean, talk about thank you for your services. He's just
Thank
giving
him
you,
for his
right. You know what I
services,
mean?
too,
It's
yeah.
like that's amazing. That's pretty cool.
I appreciate that. I'm just, again, I'm doing exactly what Grandmaster Green and I talked about so long ago. You know, that's it. I made a vow. I'm like, this is the way it's going to be,
Right.
and it's going to go back into the military, and so far it has.
That's
Done a really
amazing.
good job.
And that's
I mean,
you
I
know
respected
your
you
character
before.
and that that the character that it takes to do that and to keep doing it like you said, you know,
Yeah.
this is the way it's gonna be. I mean, I know people will say stuff, and after about a month or 6, and then they're like, okay, well that's enough of that. Now I'm gonna go and do whatever.
Right.
But the loyalty that you have to Master Green to stay with your
Yeah,
word,
there's-
it's amazing.
There's nothing I've ever experienced. Like I can't express it. Imagine being somebody who would go into training and you think, you know, I can fully admit it, cocky as, I'm going to say this, cocky as fuck as a young guy getting into karate and kickboxing and being like, this is the way. And then, of course, you meet the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, and then all of a sudden you're humbled, and then you're like, well, now I got to go to Brazil.
Yeah.
Right? And then now you're learning your MMA stuff, and there was this
Like,
period
this
of
is the
time
way
where this is the
again.
way again.
This
And
is
you
the
think
new
you have
way.
it figured out. And then you come across bladed arts and weapon-based arts, and you realize, like, Jesus Christ, one little whack with the stick, and so then this is the way. So the first time in my life where I actually completely trusted my instructors, knew exactly what the outcome was going to be, and then was getting the explanations on both sides of the fence, the why the symmetry and the patterns, how do they all tie back together into this, and then being able to bounce that off, literally, police and law enforcement, Marine Corps POI, Modern Army Combatives Program, Special Operations Command Program, Combatives, the SOCP program with the knife, having those instructors there, DEA, FBI guys that were all at these facilities at the same time. And then my nerd thing, as you guys know, what I'm really about is pattern recognition and geometry, right? And so I
Right.
use that approach. That's
some
all
of the
that happens.
drawings, some of the
First time,
drawings
these
that
two
you
guys,
turned
man.
over to me,
Yeah.
those drawings that you gave me, I was like, dude, this is really cool shit. You
It's
know,
up there
'cause
on
you
the
don't-
wall above the.
Yeah, because you don't realize until somebody points it out. Yeah, this is the human body. This is the way the body works. This is the way.
It took a long time
Yeah.
to. It's one thing to know. Here's what I learned. It's one thing to know the information. It's then, is it going to be received well? And so when I was much younger, in my early 20s, when I first started trying to teach this, people gave me a lot of resistance, and it was because I was 19. It was because I was 20. And that's valid as fuck. Just saying, okay? Now that I've grown up and taken the time. So then I had this period of time where I would try to give it away to people for free and be like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Do you want to try and put your name on this or whatever? Just trying to get validation from various grandmasters. And I never got one of them to say, hey, kid, you're wrong. But none of them wanted to really necessarily support what I was doing because their way of teaching it was, and how the fuck do you know? Because
Yeah.
you're a young
You're not
kid,
even-
and like,
yeah.
I don't, I've never even heard of
Yeah,
this
you're
style of
nobody at this
Largomano
point,
or
yeah.
whatever, right? So for me, after a while, it just became realizing that the reaction that I'm looking for when I'm teaching this geometry or when I bring something up is, yeah, I already do that. Because if they already do it, and like I'm
Yeah.
coming to the guy who's an expert on his shit,
Right.
then hey, that's a great compliment, isn't it? And then
Right.
the second thing was, let me show you how to really use this. And that to me is the best response because that's very true. Think about it.
Right.
Somebody who's into like finger locks or the Wally J small circle jiu-jitsu guys would be jumping up and down if you talk to them about spirals right now.
Oh,
I
yes.
see spirals.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They would all leap from their chair like, let me teach you about spirals.
Auntie Denise has
And-
dropped me.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Say, hey, bro, high five.
Yeah.
Auntie Denise, like she will
Yeah,
put the hurt
she-
on you.
yeah.
Norm Johnson, all those other guys.
Yeah,
Okay, so
of
like
course.
they're going to have their little piece of the pie, and then if you start talking about like vectors of weapons in space time, you
Right.
know, like when you're talking about weapons and how they turn in these arcs, how many different guys in Kali and Arnis and Eskrima have you heard talk about that stuff? And then when they talk about the geometry of the footwork and how to use the footwork, and say
Well, maybe not in this verbiage.
dude, then
same information.
sit in front of Grandmaster Ron Saturno. I'll throw it out there. That's a
Oh,
guy who will
yeah.
give like a lesson upon a lesson on, say, footwork, and
Yeah.
you just sit
Oh,
there and
yeah.
you're like, "What the fuck?"
Whenever
Like,
he
what
puts
do
it-
I
yeah.
know about footwork and geometry?
Yeah.
That's your
Oh no, I remember
proper
the last
response,
gathering
right?
we were all there and Ron showed up out of nowhere. He was talking to you guys about the transition of the weight and the hips. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then
Yeah.
I just forgot what I was doing over here, and I just started listening to you guys talk about it. Yeah, that was.
You
that
know,
was
Ron
pretty cool.
Turner's
Yeah.
really amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
he's almost of a hermit of sorts because nobody can ever get a hold of him unless you.
I just threw his name out there because, like, again, he's one of those examples of the guys where when you think you have something figured out,
And
you
then
can go to
he
that
shows you,
repository
yeah.
of knowledge,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you're like, what do I even know about that
Yeah.
subject? So again, to get
He
back
is
to what we were
amazing.
talking about, that the best response that you can hope for when working with this geometry and these algorithms is to come across the people who really specialize and know their shit.
Yeah, let me show
And
you how to use
let me
it.
show you how to use it, kid. And when I got that 100 times in a row, I'm like, all right, I realize I'm not talking about the individual art now. I'm
No.
talking about the water.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the rules. I'm talking about how you can increase efficiency, whether it's locking,
Right.
takedowns, punching, striking, bladed arts, even body language setups. And all these
Well-
people have various full systems on this stuff, and it's so fascinating to me.
Then correct me if I'm wrong, but when
You're wrong.
Danny started, when Danny started to say these things, and we were getting stink eye from, our peers, because of the way
Contemporaries.
contemporaries, yeah. But they would look at us like we're crazy. I mean, you're the only one who saw us for what we were, and said, "No, I want to talk to you guys because you guys
Yeah,
actually."
I'm pretty sure he thought you guys were crazy too, but his kind
Yeah,
of crazy.
His kind of crazy, yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be an established way of doing things.
Right.
And one of the things that I've found is that the study of geometry, if done properly, reinforces the old way and opens up innovation, again, to follow the history and the rules of what's come before. And so when we explain a lot of the principles that you were doing, what could be another proper response is that if you see someone who hasn't technically earned their place of an understanding and they're just throwing that knowledge out there, they'd be like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Right?
That's
and
what we were getting.
and that's what you were probably getting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give credit where credit's due, because without the people who literally died to protect those types of secrets,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Then we wouldn't have where we are now.
but do
it's
you
open
blame the people who
communication.
figure it out on their own and come across and stumble out? Oh, Danny, look at this. This is the way this should work. Or oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, like we said, people are thousands of miles away. They both come up with the same idea. Who gets credit?
Well, again,